Hello. I want to speak to Mrs. Janie Clarkson, please. Bette Davis calling. Hello. Hello. Hello, Janie. It's me, Pete. You didn't. You didn't. You didn't. Did you really? Peter, where did you see him? Dancing at the farmer's market. How gosh? Oh, there's so many things I want to ask you. So you ran into my former fiance. You saw him dancing in some cafe. Gee, I haven't seen him in almost a year or so, and there's so many things I want to know. How did he look? Did he seem happy? Does he still have that gorgeous physique that started out so broadly and ended with those narrow little shoulders? Does he still have that weird pointed head? He always looked like a misguided missile. Where did we meet? It was in the tunnel of love. He was swimming upstream to span. And he did, darling. When we dried off, he took me to a bar for something to drink. He was always drinking scotch on the rocks. Then he would fall off the rocks, and we'd have stingers on the floor. He loved a good stinger on the floor. He loved to read. He read everything. He always said a man's best friend was his book, outside of his dog. Of course, inside his dog, it would be too dark to read, wouldn't it, Jane? Not that I really care. Our love affair could never really be. But how did he look? And did he ask about, I'm hysterical, me?
Now, I used to dream that I would discover a perfect lover someday. It's the wrong filter. I knew I'd recognize him if ever he came round my way. Now, I used to kind of fancy then he'd be one of those card-like kind of men with a giant brain and with a noble head, like the heroes bold in those books that I read. But along came Bill. He was an ordinary guy. How you meet him on the street, you never notice him. His form and face, his manly grace, they're not the kind that you'd find in a statue, and I can't explain. It's surely not his brain that makes me thrill. 3, 4. Now I love him because he's wonderful, because he's just my Bill. Let's try the second chorus for laughs. Now he's just plain Bill. He's really an ordinary guy. He hasn't got a thing, not a thing. Poor Bill. And yet to be upon his knee. It's so comfy, it's so roomy, it's so natural to me. I hate that lyric. I can't explain. It's surely not his brain that makes me thrill. 7, 8. Now I love him because he's, I don't know. Because he's just my, oh, what was his name again? Let's see, there was Tom, and there was George, and there was Paul, and there was Peter, and there was a repeater. Of course. My Bill, at the end, finish, B flat chord.
I remember a picture I made called Dead Ringer. I played twins, Margaret and Edie. Margaret was rich. Edie was poor. Tough. And I ran a dyke bar on Figueroa. But I killed Margaret because she had a lot more money. An excellent reason for killing anyone. And took her place. I was found out by Jim the detective, and I said, Jim the detective. Look, I'm not Margaret, I'm Edie. I'm Edie. Yes, and then, of course, we must do our quick scene from Baby Chain with J.C. Blanche, if you remember, was a cripple in a wheelchair from Abbey Rents. The poor thing was all sort of gnarled up. I said, here, Blanche, here's your tin. Poor thing looked up and said, oh, Jane, look. There's an old dead bird on my tea tray. Yeah, it's dead. What did you expect it to be, Blanche? Alive and kicking? Did you, Blanche? Oh, Jane, you're so cruel to me. Hey, Blanche, look under the tea cozy. Come on, look under the tea cozy. I got a real surprise for you. It's a joint. Jane, don't you remember the last time we got busted? They couldn't get my wheelchair in the paddy wagon. Yeah, I remember. There you were going down Wilshire Boulevard in tow. Then the rope broke. And you whipped right through the windows at Saks Fifth Avenue. I remember, Blanche, I remember. Do you remember a musical I was in long ago? I'm glad you do. I don't. It was called Two's Company. It was all about this woman walking along Polk Street late at night, watching all these men standing in the doorways. I suppose they were waiting for the stores to open.
I've written, dear Daddy, we miss ya, and wish you were with us, love. Instead of a stamp, I put kisses. The postman said that's best to do. I've written a letter to Daddy saying I love you.
While I was out on the West Coast, of course, they were filming one of the best sellers, Gone with the Wind. And, of course, every actress in Hollywood felt she was just right for the role of the heroine, Scarlett O'Hara. Of course, notwithstanding was Miss Bette Davis. Betty felt she was made for the role. Unfortunately, she wasn't made soon enough because they gave it to Vivian Leigh. Anyway, I think it would be kind of a camp if I did an impression of Betty for you, had she played the role in Gone with the Wind. And I think I'll do the famous birthing scene for you. Get me, Scarlett O'Davis, girl midwife. Melanie's about to have a baby. Look at her. Judging from the size of her, she might be giving birth to a nation. I wonder where my little slave girl, Prissy, can be. Prissy! Come up here! What took you so long? Now listen, Prissy. Melanie's about to have a baby, and I want you to help me with the birth. What's that? But Miss Scarlett, I don't know nothing about birthing babies. I'm a lesbian. Really? Well, better to be a dyke than a seawall, I always say. Now listen, Prissy. I want you to run next door and get me the following articles for the birth of the child. I'll need some string, a plumber's helper, and 2 cans of drainer. And don't forget the buckets of gin for the dry martinis. And hurry! Wouldn't anybody like to kiss a sweet old-fashioned girl? Skip-de-dip-de-doo. I wonder what's keeping Prissy. She's been gone so long. Heavens, here she comes now, and she's so excited. What is it, Prissy? What is it?
Miss Scarlet, the Yankees is coming and it's gonna burn Atlanta.
Really, Prissy? Really? I've always wanted to see that damn city in flames.
But Miss Scarlet is gonna ravage and pillage and pilfer.
Really, Prissy? Really? Well, pack. We've got to get up the old dirt road to Tara.
But Miss Scarlet is gonna rape all the women.
Really, Prissy? Well, unpack. We're staying.
You see, I can sing too. So here I am at the post office cabaret. What a dump. All my life I've worked so hard to become a respected actress, and is this all I get? Yes. Don't take it personally, please. It's just that everywhere I go, it's always a dump. Yay. I've been to the Taj Mahal. What a dump. I've been to the Waldorf Astoria. What a dump. I've even been to the White House a long time ago. To visit Nancy Reagan. What a bitch. And I've even been to heaven. And guess what? Joan Crawford was not there. Pity, pity, pity. Well, she should have been nicer to me. Yes, you see, Joan Crawford and I did a movie together called Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. I played Baby Jane. She played whatever. And the most fun I ever had with Crawford was when I pushed her down the stairs. Thumpity thump, thump, thump. Thump. But I know what you're saying to yourself, but Betty, go easy on Joan Crawford. Easy. I know Joan Crawford is dead. She should be. And I know I should always only speak nicely of the dead. Well, she's dead. How nice. And I know what you're saying to yourself, but Betty, you're dead too. Oh, no, I'm not dead. Not me. Because as long as there's a drag queen breathing, I'll always be here. Good night.